This is World Comics Review, and last week I took a trip to Kyoto because I fancied going to Kyoto, and quite near where the Hankyu line finishes there's a couple of interesting old bookshops which are actually much further down the road than I thought they were, so I thought they'd closed down, but anyway, I eventually found them, and in one of them was this. So this is a Shonen Revolution by Daddy Goose, who is like a American style underground cartoonist, but working in Japan. And so take this ridiculous mini dust jacket off. I'd have to put these things on books in Japan. So yeah, this is a second hand. It cost 2,500 yen, and new it cost 2,500 yen, which is a dirt cheap price for this big thick hardback, and it's only from 2003, but also Japan hasn't had much inflation for decades, so a similar thing today probably wouldn't be much more than 2,500. So yeah, things on paper are still pretty cheap in Japan. Don't know why we can't do that in the UK. I mean, this is a newish Shonen Jump comic, and this is only 440 yen, which isn't much at all. So anyway, when I was first looking at this, I kept wondering, is this just a Japanese edition of an American underground comic, or is it actually made in Japan? But there's like this piece that's a Japanese cigarette brand, and there's Japanese writing in the backgrounds of the stories. A very American 57 Chevy, if I'm identifying it properly. There's a Japanese writing in the backgrounds of the panels and stuff that some underground American creators of the 1960s probably wouldn't have been too familiar with. So as you can probably guess from the name, Shonen Revolution, and the chrysanthemum with the sakura with a hammer and sickle in. It's probably to do with communist revolutionaries in Japan fighting and stuff with this tiny car, American car, Japanese car, fighting, and weird surrealist stuff with Soviet leaders too. So yeah, as you can see from the cover, originally printed in the late 1960s. I'm guessing in the style of the these are old retro American comic adverts scanned in, and Keep Fighting Man. Yeah, it's a American style cover. Offbeat action with the most sensational swinger of them all. So yes, kept making me think, is this American translated into Japanese, or was it made in Japan? But I looked up Daddy Goose, and he's actually named, turning to the other phone at the side of the screen, Toshihiko Yahagi. So yeah, Japanese underground comic creator who's also created a lot of stuff under his own name. So looks like near Osaka Station. He's created a lot of stuff under his own name, including a book series called Japan, which is about if Japan was split like Germany was at the end of World War II into a Soviet section and a westernized section. Betty Boop, King Kong speaking French. The Japanese parliament is flying along on jet engines. Yeah, there's some weird surrealist stuff in it too. There's Stalin and some other Soviet leaders, I guess. Lenin's tomb is a US military installation. Is this set in the past? Maybe set just after the Russian Revolution. Lenin's tomb, entrance fee 5 cents. Yeah, this is America taking over the Soviet Union, I guess. So yeah, kind of a weird, partly surrealist. These are Japanese protesters. There was a lot of student unrest in Japan in the 60s and 70s, and the protesters always wore these hard hats, white hard hats with some sort of writing on. There was big protests against the opening of Narita Airport. When they were building Narita Airport outside Tokyo, there was a lot of protests against that, and they were like building these big scaffolding structures to try and get in the way of planes taking off and landing. So yeah, this blending together of these old Japanese movie posters. Yeah, interesting blend together of a American underground style, but made in Japan. Is this a mini? Maybe. Some English. Okay, guy, count 3. Quit your joke. Laugh in your hell. So, what do you call it? Retro Hollywood leading man style. A lot of cool classic muscle cars in the story too. Some sort of meetings. King Kong is in the military. Got some funny animals too. Looks like the crows off the Manga adverts. Some Fritz the Cat influence maybe. Oh, there's that what's her name from that comic. The girl from Snoopy's. Oh, there's Snoopy himself. And the girl out of Snoopy. It's like one of the pathetic sharks and Viz. And oh yeah. Ends with them hijacking a jet plane and crashing it into the Japanese parliament. Just kind of funny in the 60s, but in 2003 kind of a bit more sinister. Oh, actually it cost 2,000 yen. Okay, got a discount. I forgot. So yeah, this is a Shonen Revolution. Works of Daddy Goose. I guess Japan's answer to Robert Crumb maybe, but he did some more mainstream stuff under his own name as well. Unless Robert Crumb was the guy's own name, I don't actually know. So put the weird dust cover back on. So that's American style underground comics from Japan. Interesting find if nothing else.